on again?
Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Okay. So how did it end?
How did it end? I'm a lesbian now.
Yes.
Hey guys, today we're talking Traitors Season 3. Never seen the show
That's
before.
right. I think this is our first time watching it.
Yeah. It was recommended by one of our viewers.
Yeah, October Girl, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
October Girl. So this one's for you.
Yeah, but yeah, we appreciate it because I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the characters are pretty damn annoying, but I mean, I'm still kind of enjoying it so
Yeah,
far.
but they got some of my favorites in there.
Yeah, so let's talk about the cast.
Yeah.
Who we liking?
You got
who we not
Tony
liking.
and Boston Rob.
Some Survivor folks.
Yeah, Jeremy from Survivor. They're all kind of like, I guess, Survivor legend kind of guys, right?
Yeah, and I liked all three of them on Survivor, so.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Vanderpump or
Yeah,
Housewives.
Yeah, that's all stupid
I've
stuff. to me.
never
I haven't
watched a
seen that
single
either.
episode of Housewives, like any season. So like I don't recognize any of those people.
No.
And I'm
Never
only
watched
familiar with
Vanderpump.
some Big Brother.
Oh, I know all the Big Brother peeps, and
So you knew that dude that would like showed up in the cage?
Derrick is probably
he won.
he's like top
Yeah.
5.
He
I
Usually
mean,
won his season.
yeah. Danielle, I loved
Oh.
her season.
And Britney.
Brittany would
Britney
bring
won the season, right?
She did. She's also been back for other seasons too. Like she's done like all-star seasons or whatever.
Okay.
But Brittany has the best diary room like banter, like sayings, the way she talks to the camera. She's hilarious.
Which is weird because we haven't seen much of her.
She's pretty good. I love Brittany.
No, they haven't showed the first episode. They haven't showed much of it at all, right?
Yeah.
Then we had Carolyn, and I don't remember what she was in.
Survivor.
That's right. Carolyn was Survivor, and then you got Britney Spears' ex-husband Sam Asghari
Yeah.
or whatever his name is. And
and Zac Efron's
Zac
little
Efron's
brother.
little brother, little baby Zach. is in
Yeah.
this, But
I
I tell you what,
like
though,
him.
man, that kid's smart.
I like him a
Yeah,
lot.
that kid's smart. I
Yeah.
like him. Yep.
Yeah, and we got Alan Cummings as the host.
Yeah.
And
Some of the outfits they put that guy in, though, dude, I'm just like,
I think he puts himself in this outfit.
I'm not too familiar with him, but I do remember he was a goofy guy in the movie Goldeneye.
I am invincible!
Yeah, he
James
was.
Bond.
Well, but he was, and he was also Nightcrawler in X-Men.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Oh, okay.
I remember him from The Good Wife.
He was Nightcrawler in
Pretty
X-Men.
sure it was The Good Wife.
But this castle in Scotland is beautiful.
Oh, dude.
I
Yeah,
love
absolutely.
the scenery.
And Chrishell from Selling Sunset was like, hey, if you need anybody to sell this place for you, Alan. And he's like, no, I think I'm keeping this one.
It rains quite a bit, it looks like, though.
yeah.
So.
That's, I mean,
That's Scotland, man.
that's
Yeah.
where you are, you know?
So who's your favorite, quickly?
Oh, God. Don't make me do that.
I think Zac Efron's little brother so far,
Yeah,
just the way he's playing it,
actually,
man.
I do like that answer.
Who doesn't like him? I mean, come on.
Yeah, kid's
he's
doing
he's
good,
not
man.
quite as dreamy. He's kind of like bogus Zac Efron, but we'll take him. You know what
I mean, him and Jeremy are the only ones who are
Right,
guessing
that are-
correctly
yeah,
at this
that are
point.
like, yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people just aren't listening to him.
Yeah.
So they arrive. There's one secret follower. It's Boston Rob.
Boston Rob.
What do we think about Boston Rob? And what do you think about the setup where it's like, hey, you can shake Alan Cummings' hand and then swap
Yeah.
out. He comes in, someone goes home.
I thought that was cool, and I thought people should have taken advantage of it. Like, if you really are concerned about somebody else, and like some of those people were saying they were, I'm like, why the hell not?
If you don't like someone, you're like, I don't even want to work with
What-
this person. Why
Yeah.
not?
What
Exactly.
people?
What do you
Who
mean?
do you think should have taken advantage
Like,
of that?
what Danielle
Danielle?
could have did and gotten freaking Britney out, right? Got a little, you know, revenge on Britney right there.
I'm not familiar with what happened on Big
Yeah.
Brother, but apparently there's some bad blood there.
Yeah, and then Carolyn was like seriously worried about Tony, and she was debating like, am I going to do this? Am I going to get rid of him?
Yeah,
And
see,
she didn't, you
Carolyn's
know,
debate was
so-
stupid because, like, you should be just as worried about Tony as you would be about Boston Rob.
Right, that's true.
I mean,
and maybe that's why she didn't do it.
those
right?
two were on the same level
Right.
as far as, like, who you should fear in the game and how cutthroat they are and how they play.
But no one bites on this.
No.
So Rob supposedly goes home.
Right, exactly.
But I had a feel, I was like, man, you invited Boston Rob out here and he's just going home?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a feeling he was going to come back.
And
you
we
know.
haven't seen prior seasons to know how it kind of goes or anything
Right.
like that, if they normally do this kind of stuff or not. So let us know in the comments, like, if we're missing something from the first two seasons.
Right. And let us know what's different in this season from the first two, maybe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they revealed the traitors. This shows a little bit Survivor, it's a little bit the mole, but at least With the mole, you don't know who the mole is, so
Right,
it's kind of
exactly.
cool being a
'Cause
viewer
you're
because you're
guessing,
guessing.
too.
Where
Yeah.
this one, you know everything.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a little bit different.
Well, and in the mole, like they're actually sabotaging the missions too, and like in this, they're really not trying to sabotage the missions because they want
Yeah.
the money in the pot just as much as everybody else does.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the thing about this one too is that I think the way where I'm kind of seeing it now at the end of these 3 episodes is like maybe the moles don't want all the traitors don't want all the traitors to survive because like if the traitors win, they split the money, right? So the less traitors, if the traitors win, then each person gets more money.
So
I
yeah,
guess.
and yeah,
So-
I mean, when did they start taking each other out?
Right, exactly.
Can they take each other out?
Well, it's
early
risky
on?
because you start that, then they'll backstab you back. Probably, I'm guessing, but
Right. Yes. Well, they
Yeah.
can't kill each other, but they could probably whisper in other people's ears, like, "Oh, I think so and so might be." Or no, actually, they had to take a note that they wouldn't do that, right? So I think at the beginning they did
so.
take a note where they wouldn't do that. But I'm sure there's ways for them.
but they
to
do
figure
help
out.
each other out,
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
We don't know. We haven't watched the show. How does it work?
But Danielle, Carolyn, and Bob are the traitors at this point. What do we think about them being chosen?
Carolyn. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
That
She's a
one's-
loose cannon.
Yeah.
like, and you can
Dude.
see it right away. You can see Bob and Danielle working together.
Yeah.
Although I like Danielle, I'm not the biggest fan of Bob
no.
at this
So,
point. But
He's loud, he's boisterous.
Danielle, like her acting was amazing in the beginning, man. The way she was playing it off and everything, I was like, dude, she's doing a good job. And then towards the end of the third
Yeah.
season, I thought she was going a little overboard, and I was like, all right, you're
Third
kind of
episode, yeah.
you're not going to give yourself away here.
I think they're okay. You definitely don't want a very weak player, but I don't think you want to just fill it with nothing but strong players either.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I do like that he didn't, because I mean, I can't get this thought out. Everybody would assume Tony would be a traitor, right? So
Exactly.
he didn't go with the person that you would assume, and then that's kind of discussed later on. Sometimes the obvious answer, it could be the answer, and
When Tony was
But
begging him
it
to be a
doesn't-
traitor
I
too,
know.
so I was like,
But
I did like
think
Tom. Tom was like, "Don't choose me." as a traitor."
I don't think I would do well as a traitor.
How would you feel if I were to tap you on the shoulder? Would you feel I'd betrayed you, Tom?
Yes.
But I think they all, like, on some level, kind of wanted to be, except for Tom, maybe.
Yeah,
but
he seems to be the only one that didn't want it.
well, then him and Chrishell kind of like are at each other's throats a little bit, because evidently Chrishell knows Tom's ex and freaking whatever,
But I don't think these Vanderpump women probably would have been great at it.
Yeah,
It would have been okay to have one of them.
yeah, maybe
I just, is it Carolyn? Is that her name?
Yeah,
Carolyn
she's the
was-
survivor.
Survivor Girl.
Yeah. Her facial expressions and just like her reactions to things are just so unpredictable and so chaotic. Like,
That plays with her sometimes, though,
Yeah, it
for her.
does.
it can, but also it's like,
Because she could play the ditzy, I
get
don't know what I'm
you,
doing
I don't
thing.
understand what you're, and then I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely very spread.
I would be very nervous to work with her, like you said.
She doesn't
Loose
seem to
cannon.
want to think things too far.
Yeah, that was funny.
That's a dumb move. Don't do it.
Danielle's like, we got to be 12, 20 steps ahead. And Carolyn's like, nah, man, we don't need to do anything.
No.
It's like, what?
She's like, you never even played this game before.
Has she played the game before?
No, exactly. Yeah, no.
But I did like Tom because, when they pull their blindfolds off, Tom is like,
He's
I
mad
am
dog
secret
there, but he's
Hitler."
like, whoa.
and I mean, I played it off secret role game, secret Hitler, mafia, werewolf, whatever, where that is important. And people do give you some kind of clues sometimes
they do.
in
Yeah,
the
no
beginning
doubt.
because they're like giddy
Yeah.
or their heart's racing. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everyone seems a little bit stressed out here, so it's a little bit different probably. But I like that he was trying.
Yeah. And
But that was bothering some people.
But oh yeah, the women all noticed it. They're like, "What the hell is wrong with him, man? He freaking like
Well,
mad dogging everybody."
Yeah, well, he did it kind of creepy.
Yeah,
You
he
know
did.
what I
No doubt
mean?
about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, then he goes and hangs out with two traitors, and it's like, I trust you. So I'm like, well,
Like, you two are good.
maybe didn't glean too much from that, I guess.
Yeah,
So.
I love the side conversations with the dark side, we'll call it, or whatever. And it's like, I trust you. Like, I know you're not.
Right, exactly.
And then the declaration in front of other people too. I know he's not a traitor.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, but,
And apparently, Tom did something to Ariana or something like that. I don't know.
What I just say her name? Chrishell.
Chrishell.
Yeah, to Chrishell's friend Ariana or something. So then so Chrishell's like, she's like, you're sneaky, you're a liar, you're this and that. She's like, you perfect traitor.
Was this something
I
that
was
was
like, oh, man.
done on the show?
I don't have the context, so I don't know what's going on there.
I
but-
guess I guess it was his girlfriend on Vanderpump Rules or whatever, and they've been together for like 9 years, and then they broke up because maybe he cheated on her or something. I don't know. I don't know what the context of it is, but Chrishell's pissed off about it or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. So they have the first challenge. It's the Viking boat kind of raft challenge.
Yeah.
What do we think about this?
Well, I thought it was hilarious as hell at first, man, when they were going nowhere. Like, yeah, it's working.
They were going back to the shore.
yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
they're gonna like wash up there.
Well, it is a little bit different because I think there's 2 people like per oar, so that could complicate things.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But they finally seemed to get it together, and then but then of course each time they got to another buoy, they had to drop off 2 people, right? So and then of course they've all get to the limit. Like, well, shit, if I jump off, then people are gonna think I'm a traitor. Like, hey, I don't got to worry about it because I can't get voted out, But then it's like, well, people got to get off, so what do you do, right? So.
Yeah, people jumping off the pontoons and people this is kind of crappy too because like you're trying to be a team player, you jump off and the people are like only the traitor would feel comfortable jumping off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was what's the I really am going to struggle with people's names at first. The housewife who said that's who she is, Robyn. Yeah. She's like, I'm going to get off every time. And then she does it later in a challenge. She's like, y'all going to make me volunteer again.
Yeah, and apparently this is interesting too because all the women are jumping off and it's normally these Vanderpump women too. So it's just
women, you mean?
Housewife.
Yeah, the housewife women. And so it is a little interesting that the dynamic there where like the survivor and the other gamesmen players are like not really for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then Bob
H.
Bob Harper, he's causing some issues.
Yeah, well, and then even Bob the
Biggest loser guy.
is it Bob the drag queen?
Bob the
Is
drag
that where
queen,
yeah.
Bob the drag queen.
He's like, yo, it's all women. Hello, we need some men off the boat.
Yeah, and Tony ain't saying anything. He's just kind of chilling.
But I will say that was a smart way for him to do it, for him to get himself off and everything. Was like, hey, this messed up, guys. We got to start getting off here. So for him being a traitor, that was like a good play for him to be able to do it.
Now
that way.
all the traitors get off, so they are kind of right where it's like a traitor feel comfortable, they get off.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if I like this challenge because so many people get immunity, they get the shield.
Yeah.
So it's really not in your benefit to get off and be a team player.
well,
and you get off first, you're really screwed.
I would not volunteer to get off in this scenario.
And especially when they didn't go for the final 20K. So like everybody getting off, are like, what the hell? Like we all
then
got
they
up.
all get left.
That was kind of messed up. They didn't go for the money.
Yeah, that was really messed up.
Well, that proves that nobody on that boat was willing to get out. They're like, look, why even go out there? And Brittany was the one who called it out. She's like, guys, why are we even going to go out there if we're going to sit here and talk and no one's going to get off the damn boat?
I thought they had to like figure out to give one person the shield, but like no, everyone got it. That didn't do that, and that's big. So I don't think I would do that either, knowing that.
No.
Right, exactly.
So
now, anyway, and Alan like called them out for when they got back. He's like, "Hey, you guys really screwed over your freaking teammates there because you didn't go for that last one. So now they've got even much more of a chance of getting voted out because of this, or getting killed or whatever."
And they didn't realize that the first time they volunteered. Although the first 2 who volunteered to get off, I don't think really thought it through too much.
Right,
and the people on the pontoons, they just leave them. They're like, peace out.
we're gonna go get the jeeps to go back.
How long were they out there? Because these guys had gone back, they'd showered, they're in their nice dress clothes,
They
ate
dinner.
like
Dude, these clowns are
one
coming.
thing is like completely gone of food. Like, they didn't even save them a plate.
Like,
or
what
like,
was that? Well, I don't know what it was. There's nothing left.
I think that's kind of good though, because I like that there is some form of punishment to get people riled up.
Oh yeah.
To stir the pot.
And what was it? Not Dorinda was really wound up about this.
Oh yeah, she was. And unfortunately for her, man, she like was kind of throwing herself under the bus because she got so pissed off about it. So.
Yeah.
And then Ivar was like, "Oh, there you go. That's our traitor right there." Lord Ivar.
That is a suspect thing to do, is like call someone out.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I gotta say, as someone like, if I was in the game, Ivar would be on my radar for sure.
Yeah, he is sus, the things he does, and I don't think he realizes how it comes off. And that's the other thing. You can't just respond. You got to be like, what is this going to mean? Especially even if you're on the good team, you think you could play it easy and just tell the truth stuff, but you got to really think about, you got to be 12 steps ahead.
Nope, you sure don't. Just do what you do.
So apparently, Boston Rob is going to be coming back. He's going to be coming back as a traitor. How do we feel about this?
That I didn't like. It's like that's too obvious, and the fact that none of these other people are picking up on it. I mean, if you're going to vote Tony out, then Boston Rob better be the next guy on your list to get the hell out of that house, right?
Now, I will say they are bringing Derrick in, so Derrick or him as a traitor would be,
pretty obvious. Yeah.
And well, here's the thing too. They know that one of those people is a traitor. I mean, he told them. One of these new people is a traitor.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I don't remember him saying that.
I'm almost positive he did say one of these new guys is a traitor.
I don't remember that.
I think they just assume one of the. It may be because of past seasons. That's how they do it. I don't know, but
yeah.
And if it is, then immediately I'd be like, hey, in past seasons, like they always bring a new traitor in too. So let's get rid of all 3 of these guys, so we know we got rid of a traitor, right?
So that makes me wonder if that's really because if that was the case, then why would nobody's really even talking about them if they knew one of them was a traitor,
right?
So I don't think that he told them that.
But I don't like Boston Rob as a traitor. It's just too obvious, and I really want to see him play like a more clean game and try and see him figure it out. Because I don't know if there's a lot of strong, smart people trying to figure out who the traitors are.
Like they should have made Wes. They should have made like Wes the traitor or something, out of that group. Yeah.
So Dorinda gets murdered.
Oh yeah. They take her out, man.
And I like this concept how it is, but like the murdering aspect is they just like are missing from breakfast.
Yeah, they just don't show up.
So I think they could like do something a little bit better for presentation. On that.
I think so as well. Well, and then
everything else is kind of creepy. You got people creeping around in these hoods, and then you're like, "Hey, someone didn't show up for breakfast. They were murdered."
Oh no, who is it? Oh, it's Dorinda. Oh no! And of course, the Howeyes and friggin' Alan just throws that shit on the floor. He's like, well, good riddance.
Like maybe they're all together, and there has to be a reveal or something. I don't know, but it's.
I like the anticipation of all them sitting there and like who's knocking on the door, and it's like, oh, who is it? And then the acting that has to be involved when you're one of the traitors looking to see. Oh,
and again, and Danielle shined on that one. That first day, man, she did awesome there. I was like, man, kudos to her. Her acting was like spot on that first couple days.
Yeah.
Now there is a debate of is it smart to get rid of Dorinda or not?
Yeah, and the answer was and Wes, because was it Wes? Was that his name? Weiss, Wes, whatever. What the hell was that guy's name? Anyway, he was saying.
We really are struggling. There's so many people.
He was Wells.
Wells, there we go. Wells is like, that was stupid because she's already making herself a target, so why not just leave her in? And then freaking Robin's like, no, it was very smart to do. And then they were arguing about it. But I agreed with Wells, dude. I was like, it was dumb as hell getting rid of Dorinda. If she was already a target, let her be a target,
I agree with that. I felt like it was dumb. But then the conversation, the fact that it sparked the conversation seemed like it was doing what they wanted it to do. But then going after more housewives.
Well, but the thing is,
like you are going to burn through. There's only like 4 of them there. Like you're going to burn through them pretty quick here.
But here's where it didn't work. They were doing it to throw Ivar under the bus, hoping he'd get voted out next, but he didn't, right? Ivar, after 3 episodes, he's still in the game, right? So it didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to in that aspect, though. So
yeah, I just think she's a weaker kind of player from what we've seen. She's already stirring up things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been more interesting to get rid of someone else. Yeah, someone who was stirring the pot a little bit more or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But I don't know. So I kind of agree with him that it wasn't smart, but at the end of the day, it's not a big deal, I guess. It's first person.
Right.
So they move on to the next thing where 3 people are in cages and they have to like fill their things with coins to lower them.
Yeah, and
which so far I gotta say, like compared to some other shows, these challenges or events are kind of underwhelming for everything else on the show.
I thought it was too. I mean,
because of the coin thing, you're just going around. It's not even that strenuous to get the coins.
It's like the coins aren't even that far away. It's like I'm just going over there to pick shit up.
Some of these people aren't very athletic.
There seems to be plenty of time to get the coins for all 3 people.
Yeah.
And one
it didn't look like they were going to. Like at some point in time, he was like, "There's only like 2 minutes left," and then you look. The middle guy, Wes, he had like nothing, and then all of a sudden it's time's up and everybody's got everything.
Ayan is like questioning them and stuff like, "What's your name? What are you from? Like, why should I put a coin in your thing? Well, you got." And then the host is like, "What are you interviewing them?" It's like you got plenty of time to book coins and other things, so I didn't think it was that a big deal.
Yeah, right. I wasn't a big fan of that.
And even when people were talking like, "Hey, just because you give me a coin doesn't mean anything to me," I'm like, "Well, yeah, if all of you are going to get." Free or whatever, so who cares?
Well, plus, the thing is, too, that we didn't mention, they've each got a shield, so when they get let down, then they get to give somebody a shield. Now, here's where it's screwed with me, because they don't give them a shield till after the vote that night. Yeah. So, like, I thought they were going to give it to somebody then, but no, they didn't. It wasn't until after somebody else got voted out.
Yeah, it was a little weird that they give it to them after that.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird.
And some of them looked like they were just willing to give it to anyone, like if they caught someone alone in the hallway or something like that.
They were just, I gotta get. It's like a hot potato. I gotta get rid of this thing.
Yeah, it's like Derrick. That's kind of how he did it, right?
So this is yours.
He's like, "Hey, bro, hey, you look cool. Come here."
There didn't seem to be a whole lot of planning in that, really, but
no. I mean, I guess what Boston Robs there kind of was. I think he kind of planned he was going to give it to Tony, but the other 2 was kind of like, yeah, they're just like whatever.
So, and then they have the round table discussion. I really like this, though.
Yeah.
Because this is where everyone has an opportunity to call people out and things like that and see what people are actually thinking here.
Yeah, it gets ugly, though.
So, now, do you think they played it well in the round table, or would you have done something different
Here's the thing, man. Not enough people speak up at the round table.
Yes.
You've got like 4 or 5 people that do all the talking. Everybody else just sitting there quiet, and then everybody votes off what those 4 or 5 people said. And I was like, what? I was like,
that's what I don't like.
know.
I really wish like more people were vocal. Maybe like the host asked people some questions or something. I don't really know. Like that's what happens to Survivor. But it just seems to me that there's too many people trying to lay low right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And there's a lot of people, so it's easy to lay low if that's your strategy.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, because Wells speaks up, and he's now a target. You know, so we've seen other people. If you speak up and you start calling people out, it gets people's attention. All right,
exactly.
And if you're calling traitors out, then they're probably going to start focusing on you.
Now, if you're called out, if someone calls you out, like is your immediate response to call them out, or just
you would think it would be, but I mean,
go after somebody else, or you just it's not me, so like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like we saw with Bob when he gets called out, you know, Bob the drag queen, like by Zac Efron's brother Dylan. He's like, instead of being like, "Hey, bro, you're the traitor," he's like, "No, bro, you're misguided. That's your drag name, misguided." He's like, but then he's like, "But I don't think you're a traitor either. I think you're just misguided." So at that point, I'm surprised.
That's a little smart.
I don't know if it was smart or not, but
well, I think it's a little smart not to just retaliate. Because I do feel like if you are the traitor, you would be like, oh, let me just throw the heat right back at someone who's pointing a finger at me. But I also don't like, I mean, he is just way too loud and vocal. Like, I would be so on top of Bob the drag queen.
Here's why you don't want to, like, boomerang is because, like, if 2 people are in a tiff and then that person leaves, you're like, well, he was targeting this person, so that's the traitor then.
Yeah, I would probably try to deflect and be like, well, I don't really see why you think that I'm it, but then I would have to throw out another target. I just don't think it would be the person attacking
See, that's
me.
why I think, like, Boston Rob is smart, because he comes to the aid of some people, and, like, he takes more of it and deflects it with trying to help them, where some people aren't thinking that out. But in this particular round table, none of the faithful call any of the traitors out.
No.
Not one of their names is written down, so they're doing a terrible job.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a first go around. It's kind of, they all even said, "Hey, this is a first go around. It's kind of hard to sort this out," which it is, right? So,
but
didn't surprise me.
3-way tie between Ivar, Wells, and Robyn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then poor Wells gets the boot.
Carolyn is the final vote, and she got rid of him.
Yeah.
I liked Wells because Wells he was staying next to one of the housewives, which we didn't talk about. She left.
Ayan.
Ayan.
Is it Ayan?
Yeah,
because
she
her
was
and Wells
murdered. She was murdered.
Her and Wells are like really close. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like his reasoning why he was sticking next to her. It's like she just talks all the time. Yeah. So the more she talks, the less I talk, and it's great.
He's like, I just get to roll under the radar. Yeah.
Ayan gets murdered right after this.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
They have the little round table, and then someone gets murdered.
Yeah.
And she gets murdered right after this.
Maybe I got that backwards. My bad.
Yeah, she's the second housewife that gets murdered.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Carolyn is the last vote, and she's one of the traitors, and she gets rid of Wells.
Yeah. Which was somewhat smart, I guess. I mean, the traitors are smart just to go with the flow of the people, right? So you're going to want to vote with somebody with one of the most popular people.
If they're calling people out for you, then it's easy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Tony, Dylan, and Jeremy get their shield, so they are safe, which is nice because you get to go to a round table and just kind of see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is where Ayan gets murdered. She's kind of like, that's a weird one because
the 3 newbies were also had shields, right? They weren't allowed to get done it either. So you had just 3 newbies had shields, plus they gave away 3 shields. So, you got
so there's a lot of people with immunity in this
shielded, and the killers are all shielded, right? So yeah.
But they choose her, and she's really kind of low key. Doesn't really seem like she's hardcore trying to figure things out. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, personally, I thought when they were debating her or Robyn, I thought it should have been Robyn. I was like, you guys need to get rid of Robyn.
Well, they're kind of focused on the housewives.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's the thing. Like, I don't understand. I get that first one, but Bob keeps saying he wants chaos. He just wants this chaos, and it's like, I get chaos, but there's other ways to do it, and you can only go down 2 or 3 rounds down this housewife path, and then then what? You know what I mean? You got to try to mix it up.
Right, exactly. And the thing was, the most vocal housewife, aside from the one they'd voted out already, was Robyn. So it's like, you're going to vote any of them out, then why aren't you going to get rid of her, right? So
yeah, and there's some animosity or something going on with all the traitors because they all want different people, And Bob's pretty vocal. He's like, this is how it is, and that's how it's going to be.
Well,
We're going to choose from these people, and that's it.
Yeah, I love how it's like a name gets thrown out and be like, I will not be doing that. Right. That is not happening.
Yeah. Well, and then they're wanting to pick Carolyn's rival, like at one point, and Carolyn's like, hell no, we're not voting, because immediately they were going to point the finger at me. So no, it was Danielle's rival. They were
Danielle, they weren't. They're talking about Britney.
Right. They wanted to get rid of Britney. And Carolyn was wanting to get rid of Britney, and Danielle was like, "Hell no," because that finger is immediately going to point at me.
Yeah.
She's like, "That's just stupid," and she's right. Like I was like, "Why on earth would Carolyn think it'd be cool to get rid of Britney?"
Well, because I honestly don't think they like working with each other.
Right. And here's where it comes down. We're talking about earlier. Like, at some point, does it come where the traitors are trying to get rid of each other to kind of get more money when they win?
I mean, Carolyn's different or difficult, and Bob is too. And, Danielle's kind of like in the middle. And then here comes Rob, so you're like, oh, geez, you know?
And then Rob's like, dude, I couldn't have
Rob always tries to run the show.
He was like, these people suck. He's like, these are like the most horrible traitors ever.
Bob, he acts like he's like the parent, or not Bob, Rob. He acts like he's like the parent that's just coming, I gotta sort this mess out. The kids have made a mess. I gotta fix it all up.
Oh, yeah.
So they have like the Funhouse challenge where two people enter the Funhouse and they have to pick between like 4 or 5 doors to go through, and then they get to tell
this
the other
was
team.
Stupid as shit. They're trying.
It was hilarious
because they're trying to explain the door. Why not say the second door from the right?
They probably were told.
I don't think they can do that.
I mean,
that'd be too easy.
Cow, yeah, maybe. But
door number 2, or like maybe I marked it on the ground for you just with an arrow. Like, I don't think they could probably do that.
Yeah, they were probably given some ground rules here, but
like, oh,
I did think it was hilarious.
Billy's like, just say the number,
morons.
I just like how everybody's
but these guys can't
out.
get the colors right, or they're like the diamonds. Like, they're all diamonds. What the hell are you talking about, man?
Yeah, like the fourth crew that went through should have gotten the right door, and they got the wrong door. I was like, oh,
everybody's saying that. They're like, in theory, 4 people should have been able to go through. The fourth person.
I like the second or the third team to go. I like because one door was very unique. So they're like, screw it, we're going to do this one. And that's good. Even if it's the wrong one, now it's easy to remember. You know, because it's so different.
And then before it all even started.
It's like 4 circles versus the 5 circles on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then before it all even started, you had that big argument between Bob Harper and Tony, right? Because Bob Harper's like, hey, you want to step it up, Tony?
Tony,
you want to
go
step it
first.
up? And Tony's like, this freaking son of a bitch.
Yeah, and that comes back to bite Tony because like he just calls Bob out and like that's not really suspect. That's just kind of like a dick move, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like when you start to get accused, it's like, do you just call these people out? Do you just as them being a traitor, or do you call them just being an ass about it? You know what I mean? Like, how vocal do you need to be, or versus like, okay, you think I'm a traitor, I'm not. Move on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the appropriate response?
Well, and then the whole thing with this event is like they didn't even get any money out of it because nobody made it out. Right?
They didn't make it out, and apparently they've done this before, according to the host, and it hasn't ended well in the past either. So.
Communication is not great among these types of people, I guess.
But in the car, Tony's throwing people out. He's trying to throw Bob under the bus.
Yeah.
Bob kind of is going to retaliate, as we'll see. Oh, yeah. And then Jeremy starts throwing some names out there, too.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy starts throwing. Now, Jeremy's catching on to Danielle.
And I like Danielle and I like Jeremy.
I like Jeremy a lot.
So I like Jeremy, so I was like, Jeremy, shut up.
Will not betray her. So I'm going to go tell Danielle immediately. I'm telling...
Jeremy would be like one of the people I try and get close to. I would try to get close to Jeremy.
Oh, no doubt.
If I was in the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I felt bad for Jeremy on Survivor, man. He got taken out bad.
But he throws out Danielle, and then everyone goes running to everyone else, which is not good. And it's kind of funny because Jeremy even informs Bob of who's calling out Bob.
Oh, Dylan. Yeah, and Jeremy tells Bob.
And then Bob's like, I'm going to go talk to him. He's like, no, don't do that. You're going to... never mind.
Because Jeremy's like convinced that Bob is not a friggin' traitor, right? Jeremy's like, there's no way Bob is a traitor. I got to go tell him this shit. And I'm just laughing at this point. I'm like, holy crap,
And
Jeremy.
this is the part that, to me, makes Bob, the drag queen, way more convincing as the traitor.
Dylan is fucking with me. He's going to fucking tuck his tail, and he'll be afraid to speak out loud next time.
No, what do you...
Jay, what are you doing?
Is how defensive he gets, how loud he gets about the accusation. It's like the more.
I mean, he goes nuts over Dylan floating his name.
The more vocal you are about something and denying something, it's like that typically doesn't bode well for you.
This is why I like to see strong players on the faithful because, like, I think a lot of people think you have to be very intelligent to be a traitor, but it's actually, I think, the hardest to be on the good guy side and convince everyone else on what to do.
Yeah.
I played a lot of these games, and that's what I always get frustrated when I'm on that side trying to convince other people, like, here's the bad guy, do this, and then you look shady by calling people out.
Right, exactly.
So I get it, and as we'll see, that's what Dylan tries to do this exact thing, but
to Bob,
it makes him kind of stand out too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're like we said earlier, at least this time, Bob wasn't like, "No, you're the traitor." Bob's like, "Hey, I don't think you're a traitor, bro. You're just misguided here." So.
Now, Tony, he's normally very vocal, but he's actually kind of quiet on this show so far.
And that screwed him. That screwed him.
According to Rob, it did. But I mean, it's a good strategy by Rob in this point when they're all like kind of like piling on Tony, but then there's some heat going towards Bob. He's like, I got to get the heat off of Bob. I want to keep saying Bob the Builder, but Bob the drag queen. He's like, so I got to get on this Tony bandwagon. You know what I mean?
He did too, man.
But I didn't like the way I liked that that was his plan. But then he was like, I mean, I don't think you're the traitor, but like, yeah, you could be the traitor.
But bro, I gave you a shield, and then you haven't even talked to me since.
Yeah, he does make a good point about the shield. Like, look, I'm trying to help you.
And you didn't talk to me since. Like, not even a freaking thank you.
But I'm like, I don't know about the not talking. That means you're a traitor.
Yeah, and then, but he doesn't stick to his guns about it. And that's not a Rob thing to do. Rob would typically be like, yeah, man, I gave you the shield. You didn't talk to me. Like, it's pretty sus. And everybody else seems pretty sus, so I think it's us, and I think you're a traitor.
Well, he's
like, I don't think you're a traitor, but yet then he voted for him anyway.
But here's the thing, too. Like, once a name is kind of thrown out there, you don't want to go home. So it's kind of just easy to go with the flow and be like, well, this person's going home whether they're a traitor or not. It keeps me around for another week.
Right, exactly.
I think that's what happened with Tony.
Yeah.
There was probably at least 4 of those votes were just like, I'm going to go with Tony.
Yeah, and I don't think the women really liked Tony, the way he was playing things. He was not volunteering for anything, and the women were. So, yeah.
Exactly.
It was a weird exit for Tony, though, and they point that out. A couple of the players.
He calls out Rob.
He calls out Rob, but he's somber a little bit. He's emotional, and that's not typical for him.
Well, because here's the thing, though. Tony's used to winning, right?
That's true.
He's normally not used to going out this early.
Yeah, exactly. He ain't used to getting sent out like that. So yeah.
I think he wanted to show off how brilliant and smart he is, and it's like, no, well, I look stupid because I'm going out early, so I clearly played it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason why I think that Dylan is one of the smartest ones in the game is, one, he's on to the traitor.
Oh, yeah, he's calling
and
it quick.
He's on to it. He knows it. He's sticking to it. But he also realizes when he's brought it up, he's pitched his case, and people aren't really buying it. It's not just that Bob's not, like, giving into it or whatever. Like, the people aren't really getting on board with it. So he's like, all right, I know he is, and I'm going to just
I'm gonna back off. Yeah, I'm gonna lay low.
Yeah.
And then Bob tries to smooth it over afterwards. He's like, that makes you even more sus.
Exactly.
He's like, now I'm thinking it's you even more.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I mean, his strategy is smart. He put the name out there.
Dylan
he
is
didn't
smart,
get the
man.
back.
But see, this is the problem. Like, if you can't get other people on board, it's not going to go well for you.
Exactly.
So you might have to be smart enough
I
to
think
back
he almost pushed it a little too far.
Probably.
But
he's safe this week.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you got people like Jeremy who are like, hell no, Bob's good to go. I'm going to tell Bob, So I was like, man.
Yeah.
So I think now, and I don't know, again, because we haven't seen past seasons, if the host or the creators try and like go, wait, the traitors are doing too good at this point. Maybe we got to tilt it in the faithfuls, because now they come up with this crazy rule, like you guys got to meet in this particular room in the open and do this thing. I'm like, oh, that's risky.
That was very risky.
Yeah.
So,
did people know about that secret room beforehand? Yeah,
people knew about it. Remember when they all showed up to the castle, they're all walking around and they were like, oh shit, check out the secret room here. Here's where the traitors screwed up. They should have never all met in that secret room together. They should have just met in one of the regular rooms and acted like nonchalant, casual talking.
Do they have to meet in that room?
No.
I think they have to cast their thing in their room.
Had to
put it in the little mini
exactly.
casket
and then
thing.
just one of them should have gone in that room and wrote that shit
Or at least
down.
it wasn't explained very well.
Right.
But
yeah, no, he said it just had to be written down on there in that room. He didn't say they had to freaking all meet.
But I expected them to meet outside the room, not and go in one-on-one, because you see all three of them come out of there. You're like, uh-oh.
Well, I love the editing. I don't know if it's just the editing or if how they're all just like barely missing each other passing through the halls. And then Danielle, she did a bad job on this one. Danielle and Carolyn, they come in the room and they're like, no, there's too many people in this room. I can't be in this room. And then they leave, and it's like,
yeah, I think she does that. Carolyn's like going in and out, and it just looks kind of suspect. But you might go, well, that's just Carolyn. She's crazy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, again, might play in her favor. But, like, at one point at the end, they show, who is it?
Robyn she goes in there and she's...
Gabby looks like she may have seen what's going on, but you never know with the editing and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But Robyn's standing there making her drink, and she's like...
Yeah, she hears something.
Yeah, you would think she hears, but they don't really let on that she knows what's going on.
You know, and they are being loud in there. I'm like, aren't you?
And two people come in, and they don't, like, shut the door immediately behind them. They're just like, and the door shuts on its own, I think. And I'm like, well, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And is anyone going, wait a minute, everyone seems to be here except some
you know
people.
who was saying that? Dylan.
Yeah, and
Derrick. Derrick was saying it too.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
I haven't seen past seasons, but if there's like secret meetings and secret things with the house, like you would think people would be on alert.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure they've done stuff like this in past seasons, so you think people would be more observant. Like, wait a minute, who's where? What's going on?
I think Dylan makes some kind of comment about. He's like, it just seems.
It seems empty. He's like, the house.
No, that
like,
was Derrick.
Right? One
that
said
was
it seems kind
Derrick.
of empty right now.
But Dylan was like, something's just. It feels like something's going on. He's like something's going down.
And Derrick is pretty smart, so I hope he starts putting things together too. We'll see though.
You know, and then of course it leaves with the cliffhanger of it showed Danielle and Carolyn kind of walking out, and it's like Gabby's standing there, so it makes it seem like Gabby sees them coming out. But I guess we'll find out.
And I guess three people got to go in a coffin, and one of them has to be a traitor, and then someone gets the nail in the coffin, which is kind of interesting.
One of them does not have to be a traitor.
But the traitors
seem adamant.
The traitors were trying to talk Carolyn into going in, and Carolyn's like, hell no, I don't want to go in there.
Which might be smart to put one traitor in.
That's what they're saying, and they're like, "You're not going home."
Yeah, but the fact is, Carolyn was like, "Yeah," but she's like, "But the bottom line is, everybody's gonna think that out of the three people that were in there,
one of them's a traitor.
One of them's a traitor. Everybody's gonna think one of them's a traitor because the traitors are putting everybody in there, or something like that." But the logic was, everybody's going to think those three people are traitors, or at least one of them is, period.
I wouldn't put Carolyn in there. I'd probably put Bob in there, put Dylan in there, because I'm like, they all had it. Maybe put Robyn in there. Be like, these are the three that are vocal, so let's just throw all three of them.
There you go. Yeah, that'd been smart.
Yeah, but... Yeah, again, you don't want to put your high targets out there as your targets at that point. You got to save some targets.
Well, I guess someone is going home at the end of this, too, so...
Yeah.
Right.
But they probably do want to send Dylan home.
They should send. I hope they don't. I really like Dylan.
They absolutely should send Dylan home for
like
sure.
Robyn, I think is cool because she's sticking up for Bob, but Dylan is like calling actual traitors out.
And so is Jeremy, and they should be sending Dylan and Jeremy both home.
Yeah. But I was thinking that. However, you do that,
and then there's be like, holy shit, he would just call Bob out, and now he's gone. So yeah, exactly.
See, that's why I'm thinking like if Boston Rob would be like, yeah, let's do this because I don't mind a traitor going home, maybe or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the first person.
Probably. You got to stab him in the back, or he'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you got to strike first on.
He won't blink twice. He won't
Rob.
He won't shed a tear.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, he already screwed over Tony. So
right. Yeah, that was harsh, man. I was like, damn. That's what Tony was like, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, and Tony was affected by it, and Rob was like,
pissed, man.
Rob was like, I didn't really want to do it, but it's done. All right, moving on. He's not affected by it.
So that's the show so far.
Yeah, so far it's pretty good, man. I'm enjoying it. There are a couple, like I said, a couple people are kind of get on your nerves a little bit there, but you know, it kind of grows on you.
I do hope they step up some of the challenges.
Oh, no doubt. And I hope more people are vocal too, because right now there's so many people we've yet to hear really much.
Yeah, we haven't seen much from Britney. We haven't seen much from Britney Spears' ex or whatever. That guy, like, you didn't even know he's on the show.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Who was the guy with the sweaty armpits? Was that the Tom? That was the Van guy.
That bro, man, he would do his shit. I was like, holy crap!
How come no one called him out on that? And be like, he's nervous, man. He is nervous.
I think he was like behind Danielle at one point, so she should be like, what the heck?
And like maybe they were coming down for breakfast, when that happened. So maybe he just got done working out or something, doing a morning workout.
Yeah, we see Dylan
doing shower or something.
Doing ab work in his room. So. Well, I need some of the faithful to step up here. Now, it can't just be Dylan. So
right, exactly.
And Jeremy's starting to get it. So I hope I hope they put it together.
Are we rooting for the traitors or are we rooting
No.
for the faithful?
I'm rooting for the faithful. Jeremy. I'm rooting for Jeremy and Dylan at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Fair.
For now. For
Fair.
now.
I like Dylan. I'll root for Dylan. I like yeah, you're right. But I also like Britney, so we'll root for Britney too.
So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to the next episodes.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. That is episodes. And that's the thing, too, is they drop 3 episodes now, but then we're only going to get 1 each other week, right? So we got the first 3 episodes out now, and then next week there'll just be 1 episode of what we're doing here. But hey, we love this, and again, this is our first time doing this, guys. So we have no idea what's going to happen in the show, like how the previous episodes went or seasons went. So please fill us in. Let us know what you think, kind of what the differences were, how you think things are going. We love talking to you, and as always, hit that like and subscribe. We will check you at our next review.